College dropout music, everyday late day, she be addicted. My friends are all annoying, but we go dumb, yeah, we go stupid.
Perfectly competitive firms are price takers. They sell identical products, so they cannot influence the price of commodities in the market. The equilibrium of a commodity is determined by the point at which consumer demand and market supply converge with the total supply of the industry. The determination of profit maximization in the short run can be based on total approach as well as marginal approach. Supernormal profit can be earned when total revenue is greater than total cost. Subnormal profit incurred when firm total revenue is less than total cost. The marginal revenue is equals to the marginal cost. Normal profit can be realized when total revenue and total costs are equal. The average revenue is equals to marginal cost. Shutdown condition happens when the average revenue or price is less than the average variable cost. Fixed cost needs to be paid regardless of the level of the firm's production. Variable cost is cost that needs to be paid when the firms produce goods and services. The condition shutting down or not depends on average variable cost. If the average revenue is higher than the average variable cost, the firm can still continue their operations. It is because the firm can still pay wages for workers, buy raw materials, and pay other operating expenses. But the firm should shut down if the average revenue is less than the average variable cost. Because the firm is unable to pay wages to workers, buy raw materials, or pay for other operating expenses. Long-run equilibrium is a condition where the firms can make a required improvements to the production process. The long-run equilibrium rule is marginal revenue equals to the marginal cost. In the short run, when a perfectly competitive firm achieves supernormal profit, it will attract many new firms to enter the same market. This will cause the number of sellers or suppliers will increase when more firms enter the market. The price of equilibrium market will then decrease, and the perfectly competitive firms will therefore decrease their price. When the market experiences subnormal profit, the existing firms will exit the market as they fear of a losers. With the decrease in supply, the equilibrium market price will increase.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, and today I'm going to talk about the third market structure, which is monopolistic competition. In this topic, we will learn about the characteristic, the short-run equilibrium in monopolistic competition, the long-run equilibrium in monopolistic competition. What is monopolistic competition? Monopolistic competition is market structure in which there are large number of sellers sell different products but close substitutes products. Other than that, monopolistic competition have easy entry and exit from the market. We go through to the first characteristic, which is median number of sellers. In monopolistic competition, large number of firms, but not as large as under perfect competition. Each firm in monopolistic competition can control its price output policy, and also it can follow the independent price policy. For example, if a firm reduces its price, the gains in sales will be spread over many rivals, and that make the rival firms suffers become smaller. Next, we proceed with the second characteristic, which is differentiated products. In monopolistic competition, produce differentiated product with close substitutes available in the market. There is a variety of goods and services available in the monopolistic competition. For consumers, they have many choices of products. Then the product are differentiated in terms of packaging, labeling, brand names, benefit of usage, advertising, and so on. For example, there are various shampoo choices available in the mall or in the supermarket, which is Pantene, Sunsilk, Head and Shoulder, and so on. Next, we go through to the third characteristic, which is free entry and exit of firms. First of all, the firms can enter or exit freely in monopolistic competition. Then, the new firm will enter the existing firms are making supernormal profits. For example, as we can see, in the long run, with the entry of new firms, the supply will increase, which will reduce the price, and hence the existing firm will be left only with normal profits. Similarly, we can see the existing firms are sustaining losses, and they will exit of the firm. Other than that, the fourth characteristic is advertising costs. First of all, the purpose of the advertising cost is to advertise their products to create awareness among the consumers about the existence of the products. This action is known as non-price competition to create brand consciousness among consumers. The firm practice non-price competition in terms of advertisement, discount, free gift, promotion, and so on. Last but not least, we go through to the fifth characteristic, which is more elastic demand. Under monopolistic competition, demand curve is more elastic because since there are many substitutions and large number of firms. Then, in order to sell more or to get more revenue, the firm must reduce its price. And also it will bring or gain more customers. Next, we proceed with monopolistic demand curve. As we can see, this is referred to the downward sloping curve, which is more elastic than monopolies. Demand curve show there is more elastic because there are a large number of firms and many substitutions. If we want to draw the MR, we need to draw half of the AR. Next, we proceed with the supernormal profit. This is the short run equilibrium. Supernormal profit occur when the TR is bigger than TC. First of all, we need to find out which is the graph is a supernormal or normal or subnormal profit. Then the cost per unit AC lies below selling the price per unit AR in the graph. The equilibrium will achieve when the MR is equal to MC. To find the total revenue or TR, we need the 20 times 20 and get the 400s. Next, to calculate the total cost, the tens must time the 20 and get 200s. To get the total profit, we need the TR minus the TC, which is 400 minus 200 and get the total profit, which is 200. Next, the normal profit. The normal profit also in the short run equilibrium. Normal profit occur when the TR is equal to the TC. Based on the graph, the cost per unit AC tangent with the selling price per unit AR. And equilibrium stays same, which is MR equal to MC to achieve the equilibrium. To calculate the TR, 20 must time the 20 and get 400. Then to calculate the TC, 20 must times 20 and get 400. So the total profit will get 0. Next, the subnormal profit. Subnormal profit is the last of the short run equilibrium. Subnormal profit occur when the TR is less than TC. Based on the graph, the cost per unit AC above selling price per unit AR. The equilibrium stays same, which is MR equal to MC to achieve the equilibrium. First of all, we need to calculate the TR, which is 10 minus 20 and get 200. And we need to calculate the TC, which is 12 times 20 and get 240. So the profit is negative 40, which is the TR need to minus the TC. And as we know, in short run equilibrium, there are three types of profit, which is supernormal, normal, and subnormal. Last but not least, long run equilibrium in monopolistic competition. In the long run, monopolistic firms will only earn normal profit due to the ease of entry and exit into the market. Next, there are two effects that can explain the normal profit earned by monopolistic firms. First of effect is effect of entry in the market by monopolistic firm occurs when monopolistically competitive firms are making supernormal profit in the short run. This thing will attract more new firms to enter the new market to gain more profit. For example, when more new firms enter the market, supply curves of monopolistic competition will increase and shift to the right. Therefore, in the long run, monopolistic firm will only earn normal profit. Next, the second effect is effect of exit from the market by monopolistic firms. It occurs when the monopolistically competitive firms are suffer from losses or negative profit. So, the supply curve of the monopolistic firms will reduce and shift to the left. This shows the monopolistic firm will earn normal profit in the long run because the effect of the exit from the market by some firms after their losses. So, lastly, we continue with the profit maximization long run. As we can see, in the profit maximization long run, there is only one type of profit, which is normal profit, because it is free entry and exit. So the selling price will back to the normal price, which is it will lies on the selling price that equal to the cost. That is all for the monopolistic competition.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I want to talk about the fourth market structure, which is oligopoly. What is oligopoly? Oligopoly involves a few number of sellers in the industry. They produce homogeneous or differentiated product. The decision on determine the price and quantity depends on the decision made by the rivals firm, which also known as mutual interdependence. So in this topic, we will learn characteristic, Kinkert demand curve, and short run equilibrium. So let's go. Characteristic of oligopoly. So the first one is a few large firms. Oligopoly only have few numbers of firms, but the size of each firm is large. It dominates the market because their market share is large. They have the power to control the whole industry. For example, telecommunication industry like Maxis, DG, Celcom, and so on. So the second characteristic of oligopoly is sell homogeneous of differentiated. Firms produce either homogeneous or differentiated product. Homogeneous product is same physical characteristic and quality as similar product from other supplier. The example is raw material, which are petroleum, cement, steel, copper, and aluminium industry. And only few companies are allowed to have these resources because the resources are scarce and limited. Differentiated product is a variety of goods and services. The products are differentiated in terms of packaging, labeling, brand names, benefit of usage, or advertising. So the example are automobile industry, which are Ferrari, BMW, or Audi. Next, household appliance, which are LG, Haier, or Samsung. And another example is sport equipment, which are Nike, Puma, or Adidas, and so on. So this is the third characteristic of oligopoly, which is mutual interdependence. This is the special characteristic which make this market structure different with other market structure. It is appear because there are a few industries in the market. Firm must consider their rival decisions in terms of price, output, sales, and target. For example, Maxis offers free internet to all students because of COVID-19. So their rival, DG and Celcom, will take an action and give the same offer in their services. So their customer will maintain with them. Firm base their decision on how they arrange the strategy to get more profit. So the last characteristic in oligopoly is barrier of entry. There is barrier to enter this industry, and that's why there are only few firms in the market. Not as restrictive as monopoly, because the entry of new firms in monopoly is impossible. The barrier to entry in the market are due to economy of scale, high capital requirement, force to merge, ownership of patent, and copyright. So next is kick demand curve. It is happen because there are two elasticity which are inelastic and elastic. There are two assumptions that reflect the theory of a kick demand curve. So the first one is, if an oligopolistic firms reduce the price of its product, the rival will follow. It is because to prevent losing the customer, and the effect is there will be a small increase in quantity of demanded. The second theory is, if an oligopolistic firm increase the price of its product, the rival will not follow, because the rival will gain the customer from the firm that increased the price, and the effect of it is there will be a large drop in quantity of demanded. Based on the diagram, since the AR have two different elasticity which are inelastic and elastic, there will be a gap at MR curve at the kink point. To find the profit maximization, MC curve need to be inside of MR gate. So the maximization price can be taken from the kink, which called price rigidity. If the MC curve is on top of the MR gate, so the price will increase from P to P1. And if the MC curve is below the MR gate, the price will decrease from P to P2. And so then the P2 will be the price rigidity, because other firm will also decrease their price. So this is the last topic of oligopoly, which is short run equilibrium. Profit maximize when MR equal to MC. So as long as MC curve touch the vertical gap of MR, the profit maximizing quantity and price will be at the kick. So based on the diagram, if MC is amounted at 8 ringgit to 25 ringgit, then the price will be 50 ringgit and the quantity is 40 units. To find the total revenue, 50 times with 40 and you will get 2000 ringgit. Meanwhile, to find the total cost, 17 times with 40 and you get 680 ringgit. The reason we take 70 ringgit as a cost price is because MC curve touch the MR gate at 70 ringgit. To find the profit, total revenue minus with total cost, which means 2000 ringgit minus with 680 ringgit, and you get the total amount of profit is 1320 ringgit. Since there is no competition in terms of price, firm will try to minimize the cost to get the maximum profit. So that's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.